Hello and welcome to today's video. Back today with another Paperblanks review. This time I'm looking at two books from the New York Deco series. These are the Channon, I think I'm saying that right, Channon Rise series. I'll give you a little bit of information about that. I'm going to talk about the notebooks. I'm going to show writing samples on the paper. We have two different kinds of paper here. On the Mini, we have lined 85 GSM paper. And on the Ultra here, which is the large size, we have unlined 120 GSM paper. So I've done a writing sample on both. I'll talk about all the features and the parts and the size and all that kind of stuff of each as well. Let's start with the Ultra here. Okay, so basic dimensions. It's 230 millimeters by 175 millimeters. It has 144 pages of 120 GSM paper. It has a nice sturdy elastic. It has the memento pocket on the back, and I haven't cracked this one out yet. It has a ribbon. All good features that, I like to see on a notebook. It's very hard cover and thread binding, so like super solid binding, and it will lay flat with a little bit of encouragement. The hardcover notebooks tend to take just a little bit more to sort of get them to sit flat, but it will sit flat. It's got simple end pages with just the branding there, and then we just get all the pages of the book until the end, where I've done my writing test on the final page. And then at the back we get a little bit more information. It's designed in Canada. And as I said, the Channon Rise is a New York City building from the 1920s. I'm just going to read the final chapter of this description here. The Channon building's exuberant craftsmanship led it to be designated a city landmark in 1978 and added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1980. Its uniquely New York City take on the Art Deco style is just one of the many reasons to pay attention to the architectural achievements lining the city streets. I love that, and I love that they include that little bit of description about the design in the back. Paperblanks do really interesting things with their design. They're all kind of in relief on the book cover. It's not just like printed on, it's textured, it's got a lovely old worldy feel, it's got shine and shimmer and chatoyance and all these kinds of things, shading. It feels very three-dimensional, and it's one of the things that makes these Paperblanks books so loved is the fact that these designs, there are so varied and so many designs, artists, musicians, literary works, you name it, there's a design that will feature it. So they make great gifts because of that as well, because you can personalize your gift notebook to someone by finding something that interests them. Looking at the paper, here alongside Rhodia 80 GSM paper, you see it's an off-white paper. It's also slightly kind of textured within the paper. It's hard to pick up on the camera, but there's like little lines within the paper, but you don't feel that. It feels very smooth. And because this is quite heavy, 120 GSM paper, it feels very, very nice. If we flip to the back, you'll see I've done this writing sample using a few fountain pens, and then a range of other pens. And I've done the same writing sample in the MIDI. So I'll run through everything here and then talk about it with the other one. So we've got Lamy Black ink in a Leonardo Momento Zero Grande with a medium nib. Robert Oster Tranquility in a Lamy 2000 medium nib. Mont Blanc Petit Prince ink in a Opus 88 demo with a broad nib. Mont Blanc Mystery Black in a Pilot Vanishing Point with a fine nib. Noodler's Bay State Blue in a Jinhao 992 with a fine nib. I've then got a Pentel Energel pen, 07, a Muji Gel 0.7, a Lamy ballpoint, a Lamy rollerball, a highlighter over ballpoint, a Tombow Mono 2B pencil, and then done an erase test, and the erase has worked very, very well. And then I've written there with a Sharpie. I've also done an ink swatch here just to see if we get any sheen, and we don't get sheen on this paper. It is a slightly more absorbent paper, and while with the writing you don't get any feathering, all the lines hold very nice and tight. You do get a bit of feathering on the swatch where you put down a little bit more ink there. So this is 120 GSM paper. Let's see how it performs. There is a bit of ghosting, that is to be expected, but really I think things perform fairly well. There's like a little bit of Bay State Blue coming through, and then maybe a couple of spots from the Lamy rollerball, and then the Sharpie is trying to get through, but it performs a lot better than a lot of other notebooks do with this. So I've scored these things, the fountain pens, 7s and 8s really. Bay State Blue, I've given a 4. It does try to come through, but that is a super aggressive ink. It's why I use it here, and it will destroy most paper. The Pentel Energel, 7 out of 10. The Muji, a 9 out of 10. Lamy Rollerball, 7. Ballpoint, 8. The ballpoint feels good on this paper. The highlighter, a 7. The pencil, an 8. And the Sharpie, I've given a 3. It did still bleed through just a little bit. But generally speaking, the paper performs really, really nicely. All the paper that Paperblanks use is acid-free and from sustainable forest paper. So it's thinking about what they're doing with the paper, which I really enjoy. Okay, so I've zoomed in here for the Mini. Basic dimensions of this are 140 millimeters by 90 millimeters with 176 pages of 85 GSM paper. We have the elastic enclosure. We have the memento pocket in the back, and we have, once again, the ribbon. So nice features, simple features. This is the same design as the Ultra version with that Shannon Rise artwork on the front. So this is lined, as you can see, as opposed to the blank version. So let's look at the back here. And this is where I've done the writing test. So I've used the same pens and everything here. So on the face, everything looks okay. There's a little bit of feathering. You know, some of the wetter fountain pens particularly are just starting to feather just a little bit there, and the swatch as well. It is slightly toothier paper than the Ultra with the 120 GSM paper. Not quite as luxurious there. On the back, we see that Bay State Blues come through again, the swatch has come through, the Sharpie has come through, there's a couple of spots from the Lamy Rollerball, and maybe there from the, I think that's the broad fountain pen nib. But generally speaking, it's not the worst. Once again, 8s and 7s for the fountain pens, 4 for Bay State Blue, a 6 for the Energel because that, you know, that also tried to sort of come through. A 9 for the Muji gel pen, it's performed really, really well here. 8 for the Lamy ballpoint, 7 for the Lamy rollerball, 7 for the highlighter, 8 for the pencil, and 2 for the Sharpie. It just comes through just that little bit more, but nothing comes through to the other page. So it's just coming through this first page here. There really is a lot to like about the Paperblanks notebooks. Firstly, even if they do take a little bit of work to lay flat, you know, crunching against the binding and things like that, they will kind of get there, enough to be usable. I really love the Art Deco design. I love the Art Deco, you know, sort of style in general. So having these notebooks with the Art Deco design on the front is great. I love the fact that they are in relief there, that they're not just like printed on the front. There's a texture to them. It's kind of, it's tactile. It's got a nice feel to it. And there's a, sort of like a nice feel to these books that gives them an ageless quality as well. Using acid-free FSC paper is always a plus for me. You know, if we're going to use paper, we might as well use paper that is both A, good to use, and B, good, well, as good for the environment as it can be. And while this paper isn't the best, I think the paper in the Ultra is really great. And particularly if you're not using super wet fountain pens and rollerballs, if you're using it for everyday writing with ballpoints and pencils and things like that, this is going to be a lovely notebook if this is the design aesthetic that you are into. I think they're well-made books. The binding is all well done. The paper is good. It's got nice, you know, little accessories like the elastics and ribbons and things like that. They may not be perfect for your big wet fountain pens and your markers and things like that, but for everyday writing, these make lovely notebooks, and they have, as I said, an interesting look, and they are globally available, which is really great as well. So thank you for watching. I hope you found this video about the Paperblanks notebooks to be interesting and useful. Please like and subscribe, hit the notifications button. If you've got products you think I should be looking at, or if there's a way you would like to support the channel, I would love to hear from you. A big thank you to Paperblanks for providing these for review. Check them out, see what the designs are, see if there's anything that suits your needs. And in the meantime, enjoy your writing, and I'll talk to you soon.